I'm going to call to order this February 16th, 2023 meeting of the Centreville Town Council. We'll start, as we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance, and if folks could remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Council should have the minutes from last meeting in their packet. Is there any changes or a motion to adopt?
Make a motion to adopt the minutes as presented.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Citizens Forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Anybody want to say anything? All right. We'll move into the Centreville Police Department new officer introductions. We are going to, Chief, maybe hand it over to you, and Councilmember Worth is going to do the swearing in tonight.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, council members. As we understand, the job of a police officer is extremely difficult, especially in these ever-changing times. Police officers must have the support of their community, their police chiefs, and council members to be successful in accomplishing their mission. Our officers and professional staff possess the highest standards of personal and professional integrity, enabling them to help prevent crime, enforce our laws, work as community problem solvers, and serve as examples to our residents. Every day I'm proud to work with such people who make a significant positive difference in our community. The Centreville Police Department has a proud history dating back to 1794. Today we strive to remain at the forefront of modern policing practices in honor of this proud tradition and the trust placed in us by our community. With this being said, tonight I would like to introduce two of our newly hired police officers for the Centreville Police Department. Officer Natalie Amaya, would you please stand? Council, this is Officer Natalie Amaya. She started her police career with the Centreville Police Department in November of 2022. Officer Amaya brings approximately 1 year of experience to our agency, and she's coming from the Cambridge City Police Department. Her resume includes, but is not limited to, she graduated high school with honors, achieved a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice and psychology, ultimately achieving her master's degree in criminal justice from the Nova Southeastern University, all while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. She earned a certificate in national security study, certified police officer through a police academy, DWI and standardized field sobriety testing, certificate of proficiency in law enforcement technologies, and she is bilingual, speaking both English and Spanish. She has completed the mandated field training. You're good. She has completed the mandated field training period with our agency and has been serving on our road with our community with much enthusiasm since December of 2022. Welcome, Ms. Natalie.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Officer Joseph Beans. He started his police career with the Centreville Police Department in November of 2022 as well. Officer Beans brings approximately 15 years of experience to our agency. Officer Beans has been employed with the Caroline County Sheriff's Office and the Cambridge City Police Department prior to joining our team. His resume includes, but is not limited to, graduating high school with honors, graduating from accredited police academy, continuing college educations, certified school resource officer, certified field training officer, certified accident reconstructionist. I mean, the list could go on and on, but I'm gonna keep it short. Active assailant training, street narcotics investigations, and crimes against children training. Officer Beans has received the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Award 3 different times in his career, along with receiving the Smooth Operators Award for the state of Maryland. All this is while recognizing his traffic enforcement efforts. Officer Beans has also been presented with 3 life-saving awards during his career. Much like Officer Amaya, Officer Beans has completed his mandated field training period with our agency and has been on the road serving our community, also with much enthusiasm, since December of 2022. We are honored to have these 2 highly qualified officers on our team, and I look forward to watching them prosper in their careers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What point do you want to do the swearing in?
You do it right now.
Okay, perfect. We'll start with Officer Maya.
Okay, yeah.
Doing great, Dan.
Please raise your right hand. Say "I," pronounce your full name, and repeat after me after that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I, Natalie Amaya,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and the laws thereof,
and to support the constitutions and the laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
Officer for the Centreville Police Department,
Officer for Centreville Police Department,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
according to the Constitution and laws of the state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and the laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
and the laws
And
ordinances
yes, of the town of
of the
Centreville.
town of Centreville.
Yeah, all the other, they're short. That one.
Okay.
Congratulations. That's it, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You know what to do now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I, Joseph Beans,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States.
and that I will be faithful
I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and
to
judgment,
the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality and prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
Officer for the Centreville Police Department,
Officer for the Centreville Police Department,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state,
and laws of this state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and the laws and ordinances
and the laws and ordinances
of the town of Centreville.
of the town of Centreville.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Billy Ray is coming down there.
You know, like that little head.
I trust for all the written questions.
Make me a little taller.
Chips and soup. That's happening around here.
Oops. Here we go. Thank you for your service. Carol D'Agostino, update us on our events.
Oh, I'll bring a chair back, sorry.
Just shout it.
That'll keep it quick. Just let him stand.
That's not a bad idea.
That isn't a bad idea.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I have, in your packet, you have the alcohol waiver for our June event. I promised I would get it to you early this year, so it's early. So our Drink Maryland, Maryland Makers event will be June 17th. It's always the Saturday before Father's Day. And this particular waiver waives alcohol in public in the downtown. And I think you all have been to the event. So we have volunteers at the perimeter that make sure that people don't leave the perimeter with the alcohol. So we manage it a fairly tight operation. And I think we might actually have a special guest this year because when we did our commemorative tasting last year, remember, Kevin Addix was there as the executive director of Grow and Fortify, and he's now our Secretary of Department of Agriculture. So we may end up with a special guest. He had to actually step down from that position, but I thought that was kind of interesting. So this basically allows us to have that alcohol portion of the event.
I'll make a motion to waive Chapter 7, Article 1, Section 7-2A of the Code of the Town of Centreville to allow the consumption of alcoholic beverages at the 2023 Drink Maryland Centreville, a Maryland-made event on June 17, 2023, between the hours of noon and 5 o'clock p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. And I know you all know about the ribbon cutting on Saturday. In your packet, I also provided new business updates. We have quite a few things coming up. And last Friday, I went to the Alcohol Commission hearing because we had two businesses on there, and the Alibi was one, but the Lions Villa, which is the restaurant going into the old Lions Den, was also there. So I hadn't met those owners yet, so it gave me a great opportunity to meet them. Their plans, they would like to open by the end of March. This is Indian food, so authentic Indian food, which is kind of interesting. So they're building out their kitchen there. So that's something that's coming up. You may or may not know that Benson and Mangold is coming in where Ashley was. So that is actually going to be a new real estate agent. And there's other interesting things on the docket there. So we have a lot of things going on, whether it's a storefront or home occupation businesses. So we got a lot going on. Farmers Market is just getting together with formalizing their policies for the upcoming season. They anticipate opening in mid-May.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
See you on Saturday. Yeah.
You will. We'll move into old business, the rules of council. Council Vice President Kaiser has been hard at work on proposed council rules. That will be shared with council. We're not going to discuss it tonight, but it'll be shared with council in advance of the next meeting, so we can then have a public conversation about it perhaps at our next meeting. So we will follow up then. Any questions about that? Then we'll move into reports of boards and commissions. We will go to Council of Governments.
Yes, we meet again on March 8th. And I think based upon what happened a year ago, I think there'll probably be discussion about the tax set-off. And so want to make sure we, maybe have a discussion among the council before that meeting about what our decision will be. Although I suspect the amount of the set-off would be predetermined by the county. There's probably very little we can do about that. So, but
Well, generally speaking, the finance manager, finance director, finance officer. Sorry, I'm not titles. The budget staff comes up with a number that sort of they're proposing as our tax set off. What's the timeline for that?
It's done, and I'll be sending it next week to the county.
Great. Are we at liberty to share what that number? You should probably.
Sorry, I forget about
Can we share what that number is? In the past, it's been 18 cents, and the
Well,
county says.
what we do is they give us the list of all departments, and we tell what percent we feel like we cover. So we've got that documentation and the justification. We submit that, and then based off that, they'll let us know what the cents or percent will be. Usually, we don't have a whole lot of say. If they make a change to the document, that's just how it goes.
They've given us the 13-cent differential for the last few years, right?
Yep, to the citizens.
Taxpayers.
Yep.
yeah. And we have recommended 18.
Yeah, pretty close to that, yep.
Okay. Any other questions, Dan?
Well, there's, no, not about that, but there'll probably be this discussion about the APFO as well. So
Oh, yeah?
I haven't had a chance to find out what aspects the folks in town limits, when they purchase new houses, what portion of the APFO we're paying to the county or not.
We're exempted from the APFO currently.
Okay. And I think it should remain that way, but I guess we need to discuss and have a position. Maybe when there's all 5 of us here, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're back to a council of 3. Park Advisory, Board, anything else? Park Advisory Board.
Nothing.
Planning Commission had their second public hearing on the comprehensive plan last night. It was not very many members of the public sharing their thoughts about the plan. There were a few folks who chimed in, and that process continues to move forward. They've also offered preliminary final site plan approval to Taco Bell. Town Manager.
So it's been a busy week. I sent a letter to the council members last week, kind of outlining a few things that have been going on after the last meeting. The spray field ownership, I followed that up with MDE via email with the chairman of the permits division, which they've said, unlike the past where we had to own the field, that they would review a lease and consider allowing it via a lease. It would depend on the terms of the lease, depend on the hydrogeology report on the field and things of that nature before. They're not just giving blanket approval, but it's a step forward. There is, as Dan pointed out, an issue with the county asking for the same thing, and I did broach that with Todd Mon briefly today to say, hey, this is a discussion that's going to come up, something for the county commissioners to consider, but we're in a much different position than we were 5 years ago as far as our needs for our plant. One of the other things I brought up in that letter was the water reuse seminar in Atlanta. It's not cheap, but there are some good parts to that, particularly on federal engagement and community info. I would propose Kip and I going, but I think at a minimum Kip could go or should go, and I will send some financial figures to the council members to consider. Yesterday, I put forward testimony for Senate Bill 407. There was a hearing in Annapolis, and this is on water reuse for a pilot program, specifically focused, or largely focused, I should say, to the city of Westminster that's having water problems. There was no opposition to the bill as proposed. There were numerous amendments that I have a copy of, mostly of an editorial nature, and some defining some of the terms that were being used within the bill. So I'll review that and get back to council on that. That is matched by House Bill 848. I did not hear about a hearing on that yet. Part of that testimony was to mention Senate Bill 392, which Council Member Worth brought up. That proposes $10 million per year be brought up and put into the budget for water treatment plants and infrastructure projects across the state. As we know, going through our process, $10 million is woefully underfunded for something of that nature. And we're hearing a lot in our conversations with folks in Annapolis about other towns and municipalities looking to do things with theirs and upgrade their plants. So I think we're at the front of the line right now for cash, but I think that line's going to start growing. But we're in a fairly strong position, I believe. The wrapping up our PER so that we can move forward from planning into design for our plant. One of the meetings we had with MDE kind of separated having a spray field or having a plan for discharge for having a plan from the plant, because they can be mutually exclusive, so that we can move forward with the PER and wrap that up and not have to wait on the study for the field and delay things further. One of the other things I did broach was debt. And in addition to what I mentioned about the 2012 bond that I've brought up before, is the ARRA grant that we got in 2013, originally for $1.8 million, and that's down to about $381,000. That one, the interest alone is about $5,000 over the next 4 years before it closes out, but we pay $5,700 a year in fees on that bond. If we were to pay that off, and we can discuss this more during the budget, but I just want you to be aware, that along with the 2012 bond put about $300,000 a year back into working capital for the town. So something to consider. We'll talk about that more, but I just wanted to at least plant that seed. I met with Senator Guy Gazzoni, the chairman of Budget and Taxation, with Delegate Barnes, the chair of the Appropriations Committee, tomorrow meeting with Senator Zucker, the chair of the Capital Subcommittee, and I did stop in and see Senator Reedy, who sponsored Senate Bill 407 today, and talk to him a little bit to see how Westminster was proceeding, the things that they were doing to bring this forward. They're getting ready for the House hearings, what they did tell me. One of the things that Delegate Barnes, in meeting with him today, brought up was that our $14.9 million is fairly solid in the budget. I don't fear that being taken away. I'm not going to guarantee it, of course, but he felt it was in a safe position. He said going above that could be a challenge, recommended we continue to work with Jeff Greist from our delegation, that he's on that committee and is a powerful member of that committee, and proposed along the ideas of the $14.9 million and then $5 million over the next 3 years as a pre-authorization. And I started briefly talking to Councilperson Kaiser before this, that maybe we try to push up to $20 million in this budget and then two 1-year pre-authorizations for $5 million. But this will mature as we work through our lobbyists, but right now I think we're in a good spot to be moving forward for phased development. And that is, the cemetery. I did reach back out to the person for the cemetery. She has not gotten back to me. I broached that with Tommy again today when I talked with him. He said he'll give her a nudge to get back to me on my questions.
Great.
And if anybody has any questions, I stand ready.
Thank you. Any questions? Chief?
I have nothing further from the police department. I did want to thank the council tonight for allowing us to introduce our new officers and for the swearing in, so
You bet.
thank you for that.
Thank you. Town Attorney?
I have nothing.
Finance Officer?
I have nothing.
Director of Public Works? Hey. Human Resources Manager?
I have nothing.
I didn't put him up to this.
Citizens Forum 2.0. Council Roundtable. Mr. Worth.
Maybe I should go with the I have nothing as well, but I did had the opportunity to greet the new governor earlier this week as he came to visit the Kennard African American Heritage Museum. So and tagged along with him for the tour. So
Good.
that's about it.
Vice President Kaiser.
I'll just say if everyone could keep Councilmember Johnson in your prayers. He had a tragic loss of one of his siblings last week, and then also is facing some challenges from service-connected illnesses that he has. And so just keep him in your thoughts and prayers would be appreciated. That's all I've got.
Very good. I will yield back my time as well. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Way the under.